$800 for 3 of us to do 2 cups.
One of the kids out there chooses
I refuse. I told my parents, don't tell my kids the next time you guys are going here. Never going again. This is it.
Especially when I do 2 rides each and 8. Yeah, like literally that's what
so have it this time.
And I learned this too. It's not going to be hard to get things on there. Your kids are going to have meltdowns. You're going to feel like they're brats. And you're going to regret doing this.
How old are they?
5 and 3.
The high girls really didn't do it.
Yes, I can't wait for it.
This stage is. I think this stage is going to make you forget to the whole city.
That's going to be.
Probably they need this music.
I think they need the music and the lights. That's what Andreas was saying. With Andreas sitting down, I don't think he knows how to do it.
I could
1
go
minute.
out a quarter on my stuff too if you wanted to start.
He's got his finger up. So.
Did they graduated with two or no? You got 2 kids.
He must be able to. Good.
I don't know what that means.
Will you just hold this up when you talk? Okay, good.
Ready? I'd like to call this meeting to order and welcome everybody for showing up this evening. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Bedford,
Here.
Mrs. Campbell, Mr. Fulton,
Here.
Mr. Grimm,
Here.
Mr. Violi.
Here. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America. To the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible.
Great job, guys. Moving on to item number C, public comments. Do we have anybody signed up?
Yes, we have 2 people signed up today.
Okay, let me go through our little comments here. Community comments are one way for citizens to communicate with the Board of Education. When your name is called, please come to the podium and state your name, address, and topic. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Remember, this is an official, formal and official meeting of the Board of Education, and what you say becomes part of the official meeting record. If your comments involve a problem with a student, employee, or board member, please do not identify them by name. Keep in mind, we are meeting in a schoolhouse and in the presence of students. At this time, the primary role of the Board of Education is to listen and reflect on what is said. Sometimes we may respond or ask questions, but not always. Whether we respond or not, your input is valued. And we have one of our favorites, Chrissy Motz, is signed up first.
Mr. Violi, just so everybody knows, they did put a microphone up here in the aisle.
Chrissy over here.
Chrissy.
My name is Chrissy Moss, 825 David Drive, Statesboro, Ohio, 44241. I am here today to tell everyone about the polar plunge that I do. And it's the things are late because we have my 94-year-old grandma living with us now, which is it's harder for me to get someone has to drive me everywhere I go. So it's late, but I'm still gonna try and do it. And then I have, if you want to jump into freezing waters of Lake Edgewater, where I do it, or if you don't want to, that's okay, but maybe you can take a paper and donate. Thank you.
Thank you, Chrissy. And we have Caitlin Cheatham signed up.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Cheatham. My address is 2288 Bartlett Road. It's considered Manway, but I am Streetsboro. I'm here to address my concern on the masks in the school. I feel it's time that it needs to be a choice up to the parent to have your kids masked or unmasked. Even the staff, I feel it's time that to give us the choice to wear a mask in school. I would like the kids to be unmasked. I feel with the dashboard and all the data from Portage Health, the numbers are extremely low. I feel also with surrounding schools, they're being unmasked. It's optional. Again, I respect parents that want to put masks on their kids or the staff if they want to wear one. But I also want, parents to have the choice if they believe they don't want their kids to be masked for it to be off now. Like how I said again, it should be our choice now. The numbers show that things are extremely low and I would like it to be changed. My other concern I would like is to get a plan where the parents can come back into the school, be a part of their kids at school, from parties to having lunch with them, dad and donuts, mom and muffins. And that's all I have.
Is that all we have signed up?
That is all.
Thank you for the comments. And I'm sure that those, the last one that was just discussed will be well thought through and hopefully soon we can see that happen. So moving on to approval of minutes. It's recommended the Board of Education approve the minutes from the organizational meeting and regular board meetings on January 13th, 2022 as submitted.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Grimm,
Yes.
Mrs. Bedford,
Yes.
Mr. Fulton,
Yes.
Mr. Violi.
Yes, motion carried. Moving on to reports, we have superintendent's report.
All right, thank you so much. We have quite a few things here going on this evening, so I'm going to move through the first part of my report pretty quickly. January is typically Board Appreciation Month, and here in Streetsboro, we decided to celebrate in February since we had 2 new members join our board. So I'd like to take a moment to publicly thank our board members for all that they do. As you know, there are members of our community who give up time to take a crash course in learning about school finances, school law, best practices for education, athletics, the latest legislation that's going on at the state level and at the federal level. there's a lot that they take on in a relatively short amount of time. And often the amount of time and effort that they put in behind the scenes goes unnoticed. So I wanted to publicly recognize our school board today and thank them. We're absent one member, but we have a special certificate for each of our board members today, just recognizing the work that they've done and thanking them for everything that they've put in and will most likely be putting in as they continue on their terms. So thank you to our school board members and the buildings. Each of the students are working on some things to help recognize that. And tonight you get a little taste of some of the exciting things that are happening with our next part of the superintendent's report, which is the Did You Know? We have several talented students with us tonight from Streetsboro Elementary School. And I'd like to call Mr. McClellan and Mrs. Gert up so that they can introduce and you can get a sense of the wonderful things that the kids have been working on because they're very excited.
Thank you, Mrs. Devers. Just a couple quick thank yous before we get started tonight. First, thank you to all of our students. Your hard, yeah, I see you. Hi. Your hard work and dedication, not just tonight, but every day at school, really shows. Thank you for being the great leaders that you are as third graders in our building, always showing respect, responsibility, and being engaged. Thank you. And if we don't mind, can we give our students one quick hand? Because I bet we do it again. Parents, thank you. I know your night's really busy and it's a challenge sometimes getting in here on a night like tonight, but thank you so much for coming in. And once their performance is done, you are free to go. We know this is going to be a very short meeting. So we do really appreciate you taking the time tonight and always supporting your kids, all of our kids at all times. Miss Nold, Mrs. Forsyth, they are a really big part of what you'll see just a snippet of tonight and a preview of what is to come a little bit later on. And of course, Miss Frazier, I know she's not here tonight, but Miss Lapis is here, one of our third grade teachers. Of course, the kids are very excited about that too. Thank you for that. And board, thank you for allowing us to do this, because if the pledge tonight, hearing all of our kids chime in, isn't a reminder of why we're doing what we're doing every day, then it might be time we all look in the mirror, right? That felt really good. So thank you guys for letting us kind of show off tonight and really show what a board meeting I think should be about. And that's those little ones in the seats right there. So why are we doing this? Well, we're showcasing how amazing our kids are, first off. But secondly, at the end of April, coming up here, we're going to be doing an arts experience night where we're going to be bringing our families in. And Miss Nold will give you a little taste of that here in just a second. But it's an opportunity to showcase their exposure to many cultures in music and art. And we're really excited about that piece as well. And this is sort of our little thank you to the board, being board appreciation. We thought, hey, let's do a little dance, a little music for you tonight. So you're gonna get a chance to see that. So at this time, we'd like to bring up Miss Nold, and she's gonna kick us off here with our show. Thank you.
And I'm actually going to have them tell you a little bit about
a little preview into our celebration of the Arts Night coming this spring. Save the date for Thursday, April 28th, because you will be invited to join us for a night of music, dance, art, and fun. Tonight we will feature Sasha, a Russian folk dance. Sasha demonstrates a tempo change, which means the speed of the dance changes. I wonder if you can find where it happens. Sasha is a nickname for boys and girls who have the names Alexandra or Alexandra in Russia. How many of you have a nickname? Sasha is a social folk dance, so the meaning is to make new friends. That is our favorite part about it. We hope you enjoy as well.
All right, let's spread out. Oh, gosh. We went first. One more card, girls.
In the dance, we get to speak in Russian. Раз, два, три means 1, 2, 3, or ready, set, go. Das Vidanya is a Russian dance, Russian for goodbye.
Very good.
There we go.
So following up on that dance, you can see that there's a lot going on in the schools and that our board is a large part in helping to make some of this magic happen. I want to thank all of our students for coming out tonight and also to Miss Nold and Miss Lapis for all of their help with the program. And parents, when you get the info about the upcoming art celebration at SES, keep that in mind because you might have the opportunity to participate as well. So moving on to the opposite side of the age groups, we have, I'm excited to announce that we have with us this evening some international teachers who will be participating in our schools, working primarily at the high school, but also taking a visit through the other schools and learning about how we do education here in the United States and also sharing some of their culture and their experiences. So
Hello.
here with us this evening is Mrs. Judd from the high school and Ms. Brown, who are going to tell us a little bit about that program and make some introductions.
Thank you.
Sure. I see everyone's going home. Bye. Have fun. Thank you for sharing the Russian dance. Okay. Okay. Sure. Whenever you come. I guess I'm telling them it's okay. And I don't know.
I know we're excited.
You got it. Oh, sorry.
We got to rearrange it a little bit. We will, no worries. Yes, now is the time.
Right here.
Do I have to? Okay.
If you want me to sit next to you, I'll just go out there.
Mr. Graham, you can sit wherever you would like.
Okay. Like being so far out.
It's fine. I'll move, whatever.
You did enjoy sitting. I put your service before.
Oh, okay, okay. Thanks a lot.
If that was here, I don't know what that's.
Okay, thanks, thanks. I forget it, then I'll freeze it.
I got mine back here. I get it. CG doesn't like sitting next to me. It's all right, it's all right. Tracy's in between us now. You don't want me dancing. I would love seeing that. Mr. Violi, while they're getting set up, can I ask, when are the administrators going to get up and sing and dance? When are the administrators going to get up and dance? They did awesome. Absolutely.
Third time's the charm. There we go. All right. With us this evening, we have Maria Judd and Rose Brown to tell us a little bit more about the International Teaching Program and how it is being implemented here in Streetsboro. Thank you.
Can they hear me? Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for everything that you do as a board. Our Fulbright Tea program is through Kent State, but it's also through IREX, and we'll get into that. But the directors at Kent State are Dr. Amanda Johnson, and she's back there, and Dr. Marty Gensius. And they're from the Reed Center for International and Intercultural Education. And it's called the T program because it stands for Teaching Excellence and Achievement. And it's through IREX, which is the sponsored Fulbright Teacher Exchange, and actually a division of Education and Cultural Affairs at the U.S. Department of State. So this year in the fall, we had a representative from the Czech Republic, Estonia, North Macedonia, and the Ukraine. And there we are up there in the teachers lounge. And this year we have teachers from Romania, Estonia, North Macedonia, and Turkey. So and those four are here. You can wave back there. Okay. And then Rose is in charge of the teachers, so I'll let her explain this part.
So my job is to find schools that will host these teachers so that they can work collaboratively with American school teachers. And we want to be here partly to explain the program and partly to thank Streetsboro for hosting again. So this year at Kent, we have 18 teachers from 12 European countries. And while they're here, the school part is a huge aspect of their experience, but they're also taking courses at Kent State in media literacy, curriculum development, and in technology, as well as going on cultural experiences and meeting with friendship families. So they get to see kind of the whole thing, or at least what you can see in February in Ohio. It's been really snowy. So for their field experience, they are each paired with a local teacher, and that the requirements are that they share a cultural experience, presentation, dance, information with students in your school. And it was a great follow-up to the Russian dance, because we do have many of our teachers here speak multiple languages, and quite a few of them Russian. So what a nice intro. They also need to co-teach with their teachers. And it really is a collaborative experience. It's not us giving to them, it's sharing of best practices and building relationships that last a lifetime.
Oh, yes. And I still talk to a lot of my teachers on Facebook and different things from the many years we've been involved in the program. So the goal of T for our students is to create mutual understandings with others and to learn about global issues of the 21st century, and to promote and develop media literacy. And we've actually talked about that in our classroom the other day. To promote critical thinking, experience lessons with technology, and collaborate lessons. And these teachers are so excellent. We just teach right along with them. So it's great. The benefits to our teachers is that we are learning to collaborate with other highly respected teachers, and we plan together and share best practices and enrich our curriculum. And Streetsboro is amazing. We have hosted international teachers since 2007, and that's 15 years. And we've hosted teachers from 26 different countries. And I met a few teachers from different countries, so I still want to do this program so I can meet more. But thank you so much for letting us come and tell you about this great program you allow us to do at the high school.
Hey, I would like to thank the board for 15 years as a promoting school and as a collaborative school. You have been in the program through 3 different Fulbright programs at Kent State and never hesitated when I've called or my predecessor called and said, we would like to have a partnership with your school, and never once have we heard no. And that's really important on the collaboration for their education, but also for your teachers and your students. So at this time, I'd like to present a certificate of service to the Streetsboro Board of Education. And at no other school have we had the same lead teacher for all 15 years. So I'm here also to present Maria Judd with a certificate of service for 15 years as lead teacher, as advocate, as promoter, and as a cultural liaison at Streetsboro High School. Please give a round of applause to Maria.
Okay, that was unplanned. I didn't know she was going to do that, but thank you so much for the opportunity. Oh, and I forgot to mention, March 2nd, the last day, we're going to have some of the teachers. One is going to go to Deffer Elementary and 3 of them are going to go to the middle school because we have an SAT day here at the high school and it's not very exciting. So, and then Andreas is going to take them on a bus ride next week around Streetsboro in one of our yellow buses and show them around. So that's going to be a great time as well. Thank you so much.
No. All right, so as you can see, our board is involved in a lot and has had an impact on many aspects of the school with our dancers this evening, with the international teachers, just a lot going on. And I'd like to thank them again for all that they're doing. It is Board Appreciation Month, so there's a few more things coming to you, but please join me in a round of applause, thanking our board for all that they've done so far. Okay, and I just wanted to highlight Chrissy Motz and the polar plunge. I know we had a lot going on earlier and you may have missed out, but Chrissy's always looking for interested polar bears to join her in the plunge. And if you do not have an interest in going to frigid water, she would definitely appreciate your generosity to help support her cause. So keep that in mind.
Do we have somebody up here that's going to join this year?
I'm going to talk to Chrissy. We could contact each other. I live near Edgewater, so I think I'd like to join you.
That'd be awesome. And in the past, the district staff have kind of had a competition with Kent City Schools, and we have been in the lead for several years. So we like to keep that trend. So thank you to Chrissy for generously volunteering to dive into icy cold waters, and to her dad for following suit, and now Kyle. Thank you very much. Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk to the board this evening about is our mask policy. We had a mask mandate put into place back in August due to quite a bit of spread within the community and within our schools. We had upwards of 150 to 200 students in quarantine, and at that time they had to quarantine outside of school. We did not have all of our students able to have access to a vaccine if they wanted, and we were seeing a lot of spread within the buildings. So we went to a mask mandate policy. However, as was pointed out earlier, we've had a lot of change recently with just quarantine guidance, numbers of cases that we've seen within the county, within our community, and within our schools. Everybody who is interested in a vaccine has access now from ages 5 to 105. And so at this point, I'm recommending to the board that we move to a mask optional policy. I'd like to put this in place effective tomorrow. And what that would do would make masks optional for all indoor spaces It would, however, not impact buses. So right now, that is a federal mandate, and currently that's due to expire on March 18th. But our mask policy would not rescind that. So any student riding the bus would still be expected to wear a mask while waiting for the bus and then while riding the bus. We anticipate March 18th is the magic date, but that has changed several times already this year, and that could change. A couple things to keep note of, however, is that we will continue our cleaning protocols. Mr. Scarsapino and his team have been working to make sure that we have safe facilities and have a plan in place for that to continue. And we will continue to monitor guidance and numbers. So it is possible we might have to go to a mandate if something were to change. But at this point, with the data we currently have, the plan is to remain mask optional. And hopefully we will not have to revisit this anytime soon. So do you have any questions?
I do. Is it possible to make it effective now?
I second that.
Sure, if that's what you would like. I do have a letter prepared, which will go home to families later this evening. Hopefully the board isn't too lengthy tonight, and I'll be able to get that letter out to everybody, but you have advance notice that as of tomorrow, masks are on the bus, but not necessary in the building unless you choose.
Thank you.
All right. If there are no other questions, that ends my report for this evening.
I'm gonna follow that.
Good report.
Yes. Moving on to the treasurer's report. Top that one, Kyle.
Yeah, great. I'll try. Am I issuing? I will be quick, everybody. Thank you for giving me your time. Apologize. So tonight, really quickly, I think the last couple board meetings have been a little bit long on some updates, so I'll be really quick on the December general fund, as well as House Bill 110. I'm sorry for the typos. And it's actually not the December, it's actually the January general fund. So I apologize, I'm getting my months mixed up. But long story short is that our revenues are around 1.1 million through incorporation of House Bill 110. I will explain that in a little bit. And our expenditures about 1.7 million. Those are pretty average for this time of the year for 2 biweekly payrolls, employer healthcare expenses, which is our largest expense outside of salaries and benefits, purchase service agreements with various vendors of the district, and our various utilities. So we have a monthly deficit of $604,000. That does seem a lot. However, this is pretty normal for this part of the year. Actually, it's actually a little bit better because of that revenue side, which I'll get to. And our general fund cash balance is 5.7 million. It's stable. And as a fund accounting, our general fund, we have various amounts of funds within the district, but I typically report on the general fund, typically historically in districts, the general fund, Fund 001, if you have a healthy or stable general fund, the other funds are pretty along those same lines, not as large, but stable or healthy. And then, so back in November, during my forecast, I gave about the elephant in the room, which was the Fair School Funding Plan, House Bill 110, and that incorporation. It hit the governor signed it in July, and then that basically gave the Ohio Department of Education making law into numbers, which is a very hard thing to do. And it took them 6 months, and I think it was actually very efficient on their part. They communicated with us treasurers and superintendents and administrators. There's 600 plus school districts in Ohio, so they were communicative on an almost bi-weekly basis of where their process was. the original hope was October. Then the hope was December, and then they landed in January. So we get 24 payments by month, twice a month, for the entire year from the state, which accounts to about 20% of our revenue for the year in the general fund. And so January 1, they withheld a lot of that funds for 6 months. We were okay through that. We knew, and then 54% of that, of those 6 months hit January 1, hence that revenue side number. And then January 2 is 4%-ish, a little bit more going forward. And this, I'm giving some details of what the changes are, but the next steps is, if you know a friendly neighborhood treasurer, the next steps in the past month and going on is figuring out that formula going forward, understanding what's in those numbers to go forward to really give a great forecast in May and an up-to-date forecast. And I will, I pledge to, when I give my May forecast, to fully understand that House Bill 110, but it is enacted, money is flowing, and now we're ODE working with treasurers or working out the kinks and understanding the law behind the numbers. Thank you.
Is this a new trick?
Hold on, here we go.
When it goes up, the board disappears.
So we have to do some, we're going to start with the video, CJ, is that okay? So we're going to, can we lift up the screen just a little bit, Mr. Boardwine? But we got to have the board see it too, so I thought we'd play at the same time. What's that? Yeah, let's do that. Let's see. Let's just play it on the back screen then. That'll work. No, play it through you, but lift that. Can we lift? We can't do that.
Okay, so while we're working out the kinks.
Full of so many technical solutions today, CJ.
While we're working out the kinks here.
Yeah, can we do that? CJ?
What?
Have the board just join us in the front to see our video?
That would be fine.
I guess so.
Perfect.
I'm not quite sure why we brought this screen down. So board, as we're taking a field trip up front.
Yes.
This evening, I'll be asking you all to vote under my recommendations. 27 BenQ 75-inch flat panel displays for Henry Deffer Intermediate School. Deffer is our oldest building, and their projectors are the oldest, and they're breaking. So what we did as an operations team was decided we were going to try to roll out one BenQ system, and we put that in the technology lab with Mrs. Payton, who then worked with students on it, and then started to show teachers it and work with the teachers on that to see if this was a product that they would like instead of your regular projectors. So that has been going on for a couple months now. The teachers really do like it and are starting to learn a lot about it. And Mrs. Payton's continuing to learn more and more about it and train staff on that. I know there was a training, or there'll be a training session on the PD day on the 18th on it. So what we wanted to do was show you what the BenQ is all about, since we weren't able to bring one here because we only own one. So we're going to play this video so you could see it live in action with students this evening, so you know what it is that we're asking to purchase for Henry Deffer Intermediate. So if we could hit play.
Hello. However, we are going to show you our new venue board that we are hopefully going to have all of our teachers this year. And I have my 5th grade tech crew here to help me. And I'm and we are super excited to show you some of the features of this new board that we have been piloting here at Fiscal. So Gavin, you can turn the board on. The board turns on easily with one click. And it's its own computer. And it's very easy to connect to wirelessly. I'll show you. This board has so many features that we are just starting to learn about. So when the board opens up, you can see that there are choices for the wireless connection, whiteboard, and a file reader. So this board will store files on it, which Mrs. Kraft might not be perfect for substitute teachers to find information. Mariah, could you click on the file manager? So the board will store any file that you need and will easily retrieve it. Amelia, could you hit the corner button to take us back to the home screen? Perfect. And you can click Amelia for wireless connection, so you can easily connect wirelessly to this multiple computers. I have my laptop connected, and when we do staff meetings in the classroom, Ms. Kraft could easily connect her laptop as well. Go ahead and look at that, Amelia. Yeah, if you do have a whiteboard, go ahead, everybody, you can share how our whiteboard can have up to 20 students working and touching it at this time. So this really opens up a lot of possibilities in the classroom. We're normally maybe only 1 or 2 people can use it at this time. Perfect. All right. Yeah, can you raise your whiteboard, please? And click on that box down there. The whiteboard has a lot of different features. It has a timer, a calculator, a scoreboard, a stopwatch. Let's demonstrate for you the 3-segmented whiteboard. Go ahead and put that for us. So this section allows 3 students at a time to work on the board with access to different colors, different faces. A really cool feature. All right, guys, let's go ahead and Gavin, would you click to take us back to the home screen? Hey. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate by connecting with my laptop and show you how easy it is. I have the app right on here, and when I click it, I can immediately start casting to the screen. Super quick, easy. All right, Jacob, will you on the YouTube video? You go ahead and right. So you can see that this board also has an excellent sound system coming from it, which is a big upgrade than the speakers we've been using prior to this. So Amelia, you have the scratch tab. And Jacob, why don't you put the blocks together? So we've been doing coding in technology class, right? We're using that. You can see that it's really easy for the kids to drag and click and do lots of different things with the board. So Amelia, so tech crew, how do you feel about the new board? So as you can see, we're all really enjoying this and we're super excited to keep learning. The kids could tell you we learn things fast every day. We practice with it. So please feel free and come to Denver and check it out. All right, thank you.
So that's a little bit about what these BenQ boards can do. When we built the buildings, they all got new projectors, new technology, smart boards, etc. Henry Deffer's technology is still the technology that's pretty much been in that building since 2002 when it was built, with some minor upgrades. So we've been doing a little TLC projects at Henry Deffer to bring it up to speed. This one's gonna take it to the next level as far as from a technology perspective and standpoint. So the ask tonight will be for 27 of those that will go into all the classrooms that Mrs. Kravitz has identified as the classrooms that need them. That will be being paid for out of ESSER dollars that I worked with Mr. Kiffer and Mr. Isle to provide in order to make this purchase happen. So we wanted to share the BenQ technology with you so you knew what it was and could see it and see all of its capabilities and the cool features that it's going to have at that building and the impact that's going to make. So I invite you all back to the stage now that Andreas has taken the stage over. I think you owe us like a tap dance or something now because of that. Five-year warranty.
So yes, each unit kind of works in the unit where it's kind of network. Basically functions from, so once we have more exposure. Like too much of that, we'll make it one, but we're just waiting to say one of the issues is that we have stuff that's in the class. How do they? So working with the manufacturer, you know, we get the 5-year warranty, but they're designed for that. One thing that we're working with the rest of our projectors, when you're not using the projector from the
After the 5 years, we'll be on our own to fix it. That's pretty much where it's at. But I mean, technology, that's a pretty good lifespan, even if we get more than 5 out of it, because you think Chromebooks, they only last 3 years, which is why we can never purchase them with PI dollars, which always becomes a tough thing to do. I think this helps incorporate the one-to-one technology platform that we've already built, because you can basically Chromecast right to it, as we saw, from any device on there. So a student could put their device up there immediately if a teacher asked them to. So I think it's appropriate right now. If you go to Deffer, when the heat kicks on, sometimes those projectors start shaking that are hung in the ceiling. So we were trying to look for a good alternative to that. And this gives teachers the ability to be wireless from anywhere in their classroom. They don't have to be sitting right next to the screen or anything like that in order to make that happen. So you'll see that as a recommendation later this evening. That's ESSER dollars at work to get these displays and move that building a little more into the technology. The next item today is school bus purchase for fiscal year 22. It'll probably happen more so next school year, the way that the manufacturers are backed up with buses. So ODE passed House Bill 110, as Kyle was talking about earlier, and there was school bus purchasing program available. Streetsboro was awarded $45,000 per bus for 3 buses for this school year, if you'd like. We always try to buy 2. We really needed 3 this year, so it was perfect because now with that $135,000, we'll be able to get 3 buses for what the cost of 1.5 buses would have cost us. So we're actually doing better because we would have purchased 2 anyways, and now it's just going to be 1.5. So we were very excited about that. We're looking at conventional model buses, possibly looking at going at a gas engine. We're not positive yet. We're going to talk with our mechanic about that. That's something that he's interested in learning a little more about to see. So we may go in that direction. We're not certain. This evening, you're going to see the ask to use the Ohio Schools Council as the bid provider for those buses. We did that last year. It was our first time utilizing OSC, which we are a member of. So that's a service that doesn't cost us anything. In past years, we would use OSBA. There was a cost associated with that. They did a great job, but OSC did a fantastic job last year, and we just utilized our membership to its fullest. So we're going to utilize that again, and they bid out all kinds of different buses, from transit to conventional to gas to non-gas to vans, all in one bid. So you can actually pick what you're looking for, get those vendors in a room and figure out what exactly it is you're trying to purchase, which is what we did last year. And again, we're not sure when that delivery would happen, but this is step 1 in getting us moving in that direction. Yes, gasoline. Starts up better in the wintertime.
Yeah, we've looked at some other districts and got them candidates. Yes, there's some things that we have to solve.
Yeah, I mean, our vendor gives us decent prices with that stuff as well. So what we don't do, at least in our operations department, is we don't just do what always has been done, because that's not always the best way. So we're always open to new options and what's on the table and what might be best and what might not be. We try to do all of our homework to make sure it's a success and not a failure. Sometimes you might fail when you take risks. Sometimes you might succeed, but we're at least going to seek out items, and we're going to listen to our team. So when our mechanic, Jeff, who's a fantastic mechanic, comes up to us, Andreas and myself, and says, "Can I talk to you guys about a gas engine bus?" We're going to listen and hear what he has to say, because he did a great job last year. He was integral in the bus bids from OSC and really getting what we needed and what he thought was going to be best for the district moving forward. He's the one that works on them. He knows them better than myself and Andreas. So we're going to continue to listen to that guidance, and he'll have a seat at the table as we're going through the process. What's that? Yeah, it's exciting that we're going to have a little help with that, and it helps our PI dollars go a little further. And working with Kyle on the project, it's very good. Him and I talk the same language a lot of times, so we're able to make things happen pretty quickly and find the right resources and funds to make things happen for all of our students in the district as a whole. And that is all we have this evening for you. That concludes my report, Mr. Violi, unless there's any other questions or Mr. Johansson has anything to add. And thank you all for taking the field trip to see the video this evening. My director of operations always has a good surprise or two for me when it comes to on-stage events. So.
girls basketball. Teams currently 15-6 on the season, with a chance to tie the school win record. I believe it's tonight. Tonight is also senior night. We are glad they're seeing, we have 6 senior players that are going to be leading Streetsboro at the end of this year. So congratulations to them. The team finished second place in the league, and they will play our OHSA sectional game at Southeast on February 16th at 7 p.m. Moving on to the boys who were just out there getting their senior gifts. Their senior night is tomorrow night between the JV and the varsity game. The team is currently 12-5 on the season, and they're in first place in the MAC. We have senior Devin Reese, became the 5th player in the high school history to score 1,000 points. Congratulations to him, that's quite an accomplishment. And we will host Salem in the OHSAA sectional game on February 22nd at 7 p.m. And our wrestlers, I believe next week, their senior night is Thursday next week, so I'll be there and the game tomorrow night for them. Wrestling is currently 9-7 in duels. The team finished 3rd in the First County tournament and 8th in the Hudson tournament. These names are so Donovan Hayes was listed and Aiden Warren were First County champions. Matt Climate was the Hudson Holiday Tournament champion, and Hayes is currently undefeated in the year. Freshman Matt Climate and Coleman Climate have over 20 wins. Congratulations to them. Here's an exciting one that I'm excited to talk about. 3 football players were recently signed to their national letter of intent. Hunter Hopperton is going to the University of Rhode Island. So congratulations, Hunter. Mason Climax is going to Walsh University. Congratulations, Mason. And Keyshawn Wilson is going to the University of Sydney. Softball player, I believe it is Raven States. Raven States will further her education and athletic career at Clark State. And she's signing her letter of intent on February. The MAC Student Leadership Conference is March 14th from 9:30 to 1 p.m. at Half a Day Lodge in Peninsula. And the students that are representing us here are Alyssa Schofield, Ella Casson, Madeline Genevieve, Charles Ivory, and Preston Humphrey. And then we have we have 2 more things, but this is pretty cool. The Rocket Golf team now has a golf simulator. Purchased by fundraising efforts of our golf coaches and team parents. The simulator is a Flight Scope Perfect Day simulator. It features a launch monitor that not only tracks shot data, like spin rate, carry distance, and swing speed, but it also comes with 5 golf courses and 17 practice ranges. So it looks like these players can get out there and basically essentially work on their game throughout the year. So that's really cool. And that was $5,500. And the last thing that I'm going to plug is the 7th and 8th grade boys and girls basketball teams are currently playing as we speak to move on to the championship for our schools. And I think we also should thank the parents for raising such good kids that are in these programs. These are our future leaders, along with many other things that go on in the school, not just work. So kudos to all of them, and thank you, Mr. Chief Talk, for the agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Mr.
I noticed Operations Department has expressed their appreciation for the service department for the city who was one of the big there were lots.
Thank you.
Much work with our high school students. Middle school, preschool, and
This year, the teacher nominated him to officially Yes. Motion to approve. Second. Yes.
Yes, I have two recommendations this evening. The first one, it is recommended the Board of Education approve the purchase of 27 BenQ flat panel displays from Schoolhouse Electronics for $74,115.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a first and a second. And do you have any further comments?
All the quotes are attached below, and my recommendation on the memo is there as well.
What a great learning tool. Please call the roll.
Mr. Grimm,
Yes.
Mrs. Bedford,
Yes.
Mr. Fulton,
Yes.
Mr. Violi.
Yes, motion carried.
And my last recommendation this evening, it is recommended the Board of Education approve the resolution to allow Ohio Schools Council to advertise and receive bus bids on behalf of the Board of Education.
I'll move.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Comments?
Just that we're going through the OSC again, as explained in the report.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Violi,
Yes.
Mr. Grimm,
Yes.
Mrs. Campbell. I'm sorry, Mrs. Bedford,
Yes.
Mr. Fulton.
Yes.
Motion carried.
That concludes my recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. Scarsapino. Moving on to new business. Any new business? Hearing none. And old business.
Crickets, Mr. Violi.
What's that?
Crickets.
I think we're in the same status right now with the sign ordinance that they're trying to or researching right now at the city council. So that's actually not at city council, it's planning, right? That
I believe it
has
is
to go through.
planning. So I have not heard any updates, but I'm hopeful that if they are moving forward.
Yeah, I did have a conversation earlier today, and one of the council members was going to have some conversation with the planning person at the city and see if they can move it along. They have information. I believe that they're doing some studies right now with traffic so that they can understand where the placement of these signs are. So it's really not crickets. I think it's a timing thing right now, but
That's
I
good to
believe
know.
it is happening. The conversations are happening, and it's just, we've been waiting a while to see that to come to fruition, I guess.
Yeah.
So if you hear anything, please let us know.
I will. That's great.
Thank you. And moving on to board president's recommendations. Is recommend the Board of Education enter into executive session to consider the employment of a public employee or official and to discuss matters required to be kept confidential by federal law or regulation or state statute.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Grimm,
Yes.
Mrs. Bedford,
Yes.
Mr. Fulton,
Yes.
Mr. Violi.
Yes, motion carried. We're in executive session at 6:44.